tagging her as a communist, as a terrorist. That is why they are asking the supporters. In the past, we've always noted that many of these Gabriela Youth members ended up being dead. In fact, I cited 3 incidents there. It was already presented in the briefing previously, the case of Joe Lapira, Deputy Secretary General of Gabriela Youth, was killed in Batangas. And the recent killings, it was only last September 2020, of Ms. Vargas, Gabriela Youth member, was killed in Mindoro, and Ms. Ren Manalo, Gabriela Youth member, was killed in Brooks Point.
Okay, so general kasi ganito, no? Kasama sa legal framework natin yung Gabriela, yung Makabayan block, di ba? That is the intention of bringing them out to be part of the discussion in Congress. Now, what you're saying is, front lang talaga sila kasi sila, they're involved in armed conflict. Yun ang sinasabi mo. That's the reason why you're actually trying to warn certain personalities from joining engaging that organization. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, I was emphatic in my statement when I said that there's nothing wrong by being part of these advocacy groups defending women's rights and children's rights.
Pero ito nga yun eh. Parang gusto mong sabihin ng Makabayan Block, sabihin dun sa mga personalities na yon, front lang kami kasi actually meron kaming underground group. Parang ganun ba yung gusto ninyong gawin nila?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, we wanted them to be here this morning so that they can also take their oath. We took our oath, but if you've heard the statement, and I take offense from that statement, they are accusing us of lying in this Senate halls. And I really don't think that's acceptable, because we all took our oath. We were expecting them to be present so that they can take their oath too. So I really don't know, ma'am, who's lying here or what.
General, you know what? I know what your sworn responsibility is to the Constitution. If there's any group that will pose a risk, especially espouse armed conflict, it's your responsibility, of course, to suppress them. On the other hand, I think it's an unreasonable request to tell a group that's not been, the Supreme Court has allowed them to continue to run or are in our electorate system, for them to say, to openly admit, parang kayo na lang siguro magsabi noon, Ms. Soberano or kung sino mang personality, alam ba ninyo, ganito sila. Pero I respect your opinion if you want to advocate those advocacies you believe are worth promoting. Pero parang sinabi mo pa, mag-ingat ka kasi baka, ano ba yan, parang may mangyari sa kanya, ganun ba? Baka masaktan siya.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yes, Madam Senator. In fact, that was my intention because of the recent killings of these Gabriela Youth members. Were supposed to be activists, but ended up being killed while wielding arms. So this is what we are trying to explain to the people.
What did Liza Soberano say that might put her in danger or in jeopardy? Ano yung sinabi niya na baka pwedeng patayin din siya katulad ng mga ibang activists?
Did you say Liza Soberano, ma'am?
Parlade said there's a still chance advocate if you suffer the same fate as Josephine Ann Lapira. So anong sinabi nila na medyo na namimiligro ang kanilang buhay, baka mamiligro?
No, ma'am. In fact, this is what we've been telling the public, that the family of Liza Soberano, through the lawyer, wanted to express their thanks for defending Liza Soberano from her buzzers and from those who red tagged her. So they were actually thanking me, and they wanted to send me a thank you letter for informing them of the real nature of this Gabriela Youth.
Yeah, Parlade, I don't think you're answering the question. Ang tanong ni Senator Grace po, ano ba yung nasabi na bigkas na pananalita ni Liza Soberano para ma-warningan mo siya na baka mag-end up din siya katulad ng mga ibang naipakita kanina sa video? Yun ang tanong ni Senator Grace. Am I correct, Senator Grace?
Yes, actually, thank you for clarifying, Mr. Chair. Ano ba yung sinabi? Kasi maaring sumama lang siya dun sa forum na yon, pero baka naman ang sinabi niya, general, ideological or support for our women and children. Ano bang sinabi niya na maaaring makadulot ng peligro sa kanya?
In fairness, ma'am, she said nothing about being threatened or being in danger for speaking in that forum. But it's the netizens who are actually tagging her as a communist, as a terrorist. That is why they are asking the supporters to boycott her programs.
Okay, so General, basically her mere presence in that forum has incensed many netizens to bash her.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, so ganito siguro ang magandang maaring nangyari siguro is you maybe you could have just warned her to be careful because as you have, pero siguro hindi naman or pwedeng sabihin dun sa mga netizens, hindi naman dahil sa lungat sa inyong pananaw ay terorista na o kailangan ng i-bash ng ganon. You could issue just a general statement. She was just there in support of the idea. Kasi kahit naman anong forum di ba? Meron naman talagang mga tayong sinasabi, not necessarily because we support everything that group is doing, but it depends on what the occasion is. If it's an event for women and children, I could very well find many of my colleagues present there, even if we're not a member or we don't espouse everything that a certain organization pushes for. Am I correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am. And in fact, that's exactly what I said. If you just read my statement, that's exactly what I said. That there's nothing wrong expressing your support on women's rights and advocacy rights and children's rights. That is why I wanted to inform the netizens that it is unfair for them to red tag Liza Soberana simply for being part of that webinar. Napakalinaw po. In
Mr.
fact,
Chair.
meron po akong
Kailan dinagdag
The
mo pa kasi
indulgence
na
of Senator
baka-
Grace.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, with the indulgence of Senator Grace.
Yes, Senator Riz Ontiveros is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Senator Grace. Just briefly on one of the points replied by General Parlade to Senator Grace's questioning, I'd just like to make of record a statement of Attorney June Lim, counsel for Ms. Liza Soberano, in Facebook. He says, Mr. Chairman, para sa kaliwanagan ng lahat, nagpasalamat ako kay General Parlade sa nag-iisang dahilan lamang at wala nang iba pa. Tahasan niyang sinabi sa akin na si Ms. Soberano ay hindi bahagi ng NPA at wala siyang kaugnayan sa alinmang grupong konektado dito. Dahil sa sinabing ito ni General Parlade, nalinis ang pangalan ni Liza na pilit na sinisira ng mga mangilang-ngilang irresponsableng personalidad sa pamamagitan ng red tagging. Naway matuldukan na ang isyong ito. Makakaasa tayong patuloy na maninindigan at ipapahayag ni Liza ang kanyang advokasya patungkol sa paggalang sa karapatan ng mga kababaihan at kabataan. Walang maaaring pumigil sa kanya sa paniniwalang ito. Salamat, Mr. Chairman. Salamat, Senator Grace.
Thank you, Senator Ontiveros.
Thank you. So, General Parlade, how does the NTF-ELCAC verify or fact-check statements before releasing them to the public?
we vet our statements. We post our statements to the Stratcom cluster, and then we ask for their comments, including from the legal cooperation cluster. And then once that is approved, it's released. So that's the procedure, ma'am. Everything that we say there are official statements of the NTF. It's not my personal opinion.
Okay. How about General Gapay? Does the AFP have a protocol before its officials can make statements that General Parlade is making?
Yes, Madam Senator, Mr. Chair, Your Honors. Yes, we have a policy in the Armed Forces of the Philippines. And as far as public information operations is concerned, all statements are passes through a group, a strategic communications group, wherein they also vet and verify information as to their accuracy, truthfulness, and of course, we only state facts as far as our statements are concerned prior to release. So, and we have designated the spokespersons to carry out and speak out in behalf of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Down even to the units, we have designated spokespersons, Madam Senator.
Okay, lastly, dun sa anti-terror law, and we have the authors also here in the Senate, you need a court order. Do you need you actually need a court order before doing surveillance? Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. Initially, we have to request to the Anti-Terrorism Council, and it has to be approved by the
So hindi
proper
naman
courts.
dapat
Yes.
so hindi naman dapat like you just take matters in your hands pag if you suspect somebody, it has to go through a council, and in fact in some cases merit a court order before a surveillance can be conducted. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. We have to prove initially to the ETC, then to the proper courts. So it's like a thesis we have to prove, and we have to present evidence initially in order to get the nod and the go signal. If initially this ATC says you lack evidence, produce some more evidence, improve on the case build-up, and then we have to do so, Madam Senator. So it goes through a stringent procedure before getting the nod of the ATC and even the proper courts.
Just a way of clarification, you're referring to electronic surveillance, for you to secure a court authorization. Of course, you conduct physical surveillance, and that doesn't need court
Court
authorization.
order.
Just to
Correct.
clarify.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So sa araw na to, Mr. Chair, I just want to ask a few questions to verify if this was actually uttered. This is for General Parlade. Nandiyan ba si General Parlade?
Nandito po siya.
Okay.
By the way, just some housekeeping lang. Each senator will be given 10 minutes to ask questions. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Chair, pwede mo nang ibawas yung statement ko. May
Ano man, sige, tawad na yun. Pwede tawad yun. Sige.
Thank you.